This podcast is brought to you by Radio 786.
If you are standing on the edge of your final year of high school and you're stepping into a chapter that will shape your future in powerful ways, or if you're a parent of such a learner, then pay attention, because we know that grade 12 is so much more than just textbook, exams and deadlines. It's a year of maturity, personal growth, responsibility, and defining who you want to become beyond the school gates. But there's the year prior to that, and this is the year where your choices carry a lot more weight, your habits matter more, and your mindset becomes your biggest asset. You will be challenged academically, socially, and emotionally, but you will be given the opportunities to rise, to lead, to discover your strength, and to prepare for life after school. Wat 'n jaar praat ons van? Ons praat van jou graad 11 jaar. Now, as you move from grade 11 to grade 12, the question isn't just am I ready for the workload, but also am I ready to show up as the best version of myself, not just academically speaking, but with all of those life skills that we know that's required as you journey towards the end of your schooling year. Now, today we focus on what does it mean to prepare for that final schooling year, not only in the classroom, but in your character, your mindset, your discipline, and your vision for the future. Please do join us in welcoming on the line with us Dr. Ismail Taladia, who is the curriculum planner for life orientation in the Western Cape Education Department. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Dr. Taladia.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Khadija, and to the listeners. Once again, a pleasure for me to be on the program this morning.
We missed you. We know you've been incredibly busy, but we realize that we need to have this conversation because few other people are better placed and better positioned than to respond and speak to us about this here. So yes, we've spoken about the grade 12 year that demands maturity and responsibility. Let's turn our attention to the grade 11s. What does responsibility look like for them going into their final year?
Well, I think it's critically important, firstly, that over the next 2 weeks, that they really on top of their academic performance, because the outcomes of the grade 11 final results is going to determine whether they're going to receive at least conditional acceptance at any one of our tertiary institutions for 2026. So the grade 11 final exam results are critically important in that regard. This morning I'm here at a seminar being organized by the Department of Higher Education and Training, and the focus of this particular seminar is around the launching of occupational programs for tomorrow's workforce. Now, just taking that conference theme into consideration, it says very clearly that the workforce for the future is important, and these grade 11s are going to form part of that particular workforce. And therefore, it becomes critically important that our grade 11s at this particular point in time are clearly focused, one, in terms of preparation and, in fact, execution now of the final examinations, and wanting to score the best results. With that in mind, they must have had a clear idea as to what it is that they want to do post-matric, because that is the pathway that he or she is now creating for themselves in terms of what am I doing? Am I scoring the best results that I can? And with those results, is it going to open the doors that I want to have open for me when I'm in grade 12? Having said that, it now becomes important that the learner, him or herself, understands. So my options is to go to university. My option is to go to a TVET college. My option is to go to possibly a private institution. My option is to go to some other training institute that will prepare me with the necessary skills to follow a particular career pathway. So those are the kind of things that the young person needed to have prepared himself or herself for in order to then step into their final year. But the groundwork that has been done in grade 11 is going to make life a lot easier when that same learner steps into grade 12, because the grade 12 is all about preparation for the final examination. There is no thinking about too many other things but preparation for the final examination, and then what happens post that final examination. And so the demands on the grade 11 learner is going to be so much higher than what it has been this year, and taking nothing away from the fact that they should have laid the groundwork already during the course of this year. And we've had conversations with them during the course of this year in terms of saying the standard that you set for yourself in grade 11 is a standard that you need to be taking into grade 12, because that strong work ethic that you use in grade 11 is what is going to take you into grade 12 and beyond. And so that must already be part of what the learner is doing almost on a daily basis. It should not be something new. It should be something that the learners are engaged with. It is part of who they are. It is part of what gets them up in the morning. It is part of the conversations that they're having with their parents, that with their peers, and whoever else is going to be supportive of what it is that they want to do post-school. So the grade 11s in a very critical year, it is important for them to have the necessary conversations with all of the people that are going to be influential in terms of what it is that they do post-school. And so understanding who do I apply to in order for me to get a bursary, what scholarships are available, what learnerships are available. And so this is all the information that the grade 11 learner needs to gather in order to make it a smooth pathway when that same learner gets into grade 12, in order to identify what it is that they're going to be doing going forward. It's also important that as the learner has gone through grade 11, that the learner also does some reflection. And so what is the reflection that the learner needs to be looking at? The learner needs to be looking at the study methods that he or she employed during the course of this year. Has those study methods that they used, has it influenced the kind of results that they wanted? And if it hasn't shown the results that they wanted, then they need to revisit those study methods when they approach grade 12. And so this is part of the reflection process. Reflection on, did I pay attention in class? Did I do the homework that I was given? And those are all part of the reflection that the grade 11 learner needs to do after the final examinations has been completed, and then sit back and do that reflection, but with the idea that I need to remedy this. I need to panel beat it in order for me to do better, in order for me to change the outcome of having used particular strategies so that I'm able to perform to the best of my ability. And so that reflection becomes important. The reflection on what has my friends and my peers done for me in terms of supporting me. Has the impact been positive, or have they had a negative influence on what it is that I was delivering? And so the learner needs to do that, the reflection. The learner also needs to sit down and do this reflection with his or her parents, and say to the parents, what was your thoughts? What was your observation of what I've done this year? And what do you suggest that I do differently in next year? What kind of support did the parent give to the child in the grade 11 year? Things mustn't change in grade 12. What the parent has done this year for the child must be what the parent is going to do next year when the child is in the final year of school, and the pressure becomes even more. It just needs to be an adaptation or modification of the support that was given in order for the child and the parent to walk away from there with maximum outcomes for the benefit of the child. And so that kind of reflection becomes critically important. And so also look at, what are the things that worked for me this year? Did I get enough sleep after a study session? Did I attend extra classes, and how did those extra classes impact on me understanding the content of the work that I needed to prepare for? Did it give me a better focus? Have I gone to workshops that was organized by the school or by a tertiary institution? Did I go to a career expo with the idea of gathering information important for my planning? And so those things become very important for the child. In terms of reflection, what was my goals that I set for myself during the course of my grade 11 year? And did I achieve those goals? And so you need to unpack then the goals that you had set, the targets that you had set for yourself, because that is all part of planning. And so, it becomes important that the grade 11 learner does a full reflection of the year that was, and use that as a platform for the year that is coming. And so understanding exactly where he or she finds himself at this particular point in time in terms of moving forward, and knowing these are the things that I need to change, or these are the things that I'm going to hold on to and that I'm going to strengthen in order for me to strengthen the kind of outcomes that I want to achieve. And so those kind of connections become very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the grade 11 learner needs to look at, so what is my relationship, let's say, with my siblings? Am I the oldest child in the house? Am I the youngest child in the house? Where do I fit in? And am I doing and carrying out my responsibilities to my family members, because they are also going to be making a contribution. So whether they're younger siblings or older siblings, it is important to stay connected to them, because they are also going to contribute to creating that enabling environment for you.
Yeah. So much. I think that we want to pick up on after the break. I think the really important conversation or what I want to continue with is this idea that it's so much more than just applying or saying to yourself that now I need to study harder. There's a healthy balance between schoolwork, family, self-care, social life. All of that plays a role in, of course, in how the year will end off for one as one prepares for the final year. But let's continue with that after the break. On the line with us, we have Dr. Ismail Taladia, who's the curriculum planner for life orientation in the Western Cape Education Department, speaking to us about the transition that grade 11 learners will need to make before stepping into the final year at high school. Pay attention, both parents and learners alike. We'll continue after the break. It's 100.4 FM. It's Community Pulse on Radio 786 100.4 FM. Going into the second half of Education Beyond 94 this morning. We are very happy to be joined by Dr. Ismail Taladia, who is the curriculum planner for life orientation in the Western Cape Education Department, speaking to us about the transition that grade 11 learners will need to make before stepping into the final year at high school. And the one thing for me that always stands out that we so appreciate about Dr. Taladia's conversation is that you always make it clear that there's not time to faff around. We need to understand that there are realities that we need to face, that our learners need to face. Parents also need to face in as far as the schooling is concerned, and it's not going to be all manskein and rosa. It's going to mean that you need to apply yourself, you need to apply your mind, and miracles are not going to happen if you've never worked for all those years. No matter what you do now, it's not going to. It's not going to change overnight, and so that's such an important part of this conversation. That, of course, grade 11's Dr. Taladia.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was hearing voices in the background, so I thought, are you with us? And I think that's such an important message for parents and for grade 11s. We spoke about this a few times, where it's very easy to go and blame the principal and blame the teacher, but this idea of a positive mindset and applying or applying habits and self-care, discovering your strength. These are not abstract concepts or phrases that we just use. Jy moet eintlik skouer aan die wiel sit. Dis wat belangrik is.
Well, I think it's important to note that when we speak about developing a strong work ethic, it starts at primary school
Yeah.
already. It starts at that level and moving it through into the high school. And so there's no, let's call it soft year, whether you're in grade 8, whether you're in grade 9, whether you're in grade 11, all of those years is all preparing you for life after school. And so the kind of attitude that you develop towards your academics, the kind of attitude that you develop towards your teachers, are all going to manifest itself in you as you develop as an individual. So the grade 8 learner, if he or she is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's going to catch up with them in grade 9, and it will carry on with like that throughout the year. And I just want to share with listeners, just some of the issues that we've picked up within the education department, and that is how our young people are looking for soft options in life. And so let me give you some concrete examples of this looking for soft options. If I look at our grade 10 registrations for this year, then almost 50% of our grade 10s are doing history. Almost 50% of our grade 10s are doing tourism. Almost 60, 70% of them are doing maths literacy. And so those are subjects, and I have great respect for the subjects and for the teachers teaching those subjects. But at the end of the day, those subjects are not necessarily going to open doors for those learners. In fact, if you're sitting with those subjects, you're not going to get into university to do any of the Bachelor of Science degrees or engineering degrees, or even getting into law. And so why are young people choosing the soft options? Why are our parents supporting their children to do these soft options? Is it about just getting a matric certificate? It has to be a little bit more than that. If we look at the unemployment figures in our country, the youth unemployment nationally is around 62%. The unemployment figure in the country, that's based on the August stats, was at 34.6%. And so that says to me very clearly that our young people have to do something better. They have to get off their backsides and do some serious work towards improving themselves, but also to contribute to the economy. And how are you going to contribute to the economy if we're not developing artisans, if we're not developing engineers, if we're not developing scientists? And I can say to you, our country is blessed with having some top academics. Our country is blessed with having some top scientists. I work very closely with the South African Medical Research Council. And if you go into the South African Medical Research Council offices, you see scientists who are in all of our communities. They come out of Elsie's River, they come out of Cravenby, they come out of Mitchell's Plain, but they are top scientists that are researching things that contributes not only to health in South Africa, but to health across the world. And so if our young people are seeing these role models, if they're seeing what is open to them, then hopefully they're going to be making better choices. And so my appeal to our parents is to ensure, if you have your children at grade 8, grade 9 level, then please look at what subjects they choose when they're going into grade 10. We can't look for our learners just to choose these soft options. There's no soft landing in life. Life is all about hard work. Life is about making sure that there's bread on the table. And so our learners, and I want to confess that sometimes our parents are guilty of that, is because we want to put our children in and surround them with cotton wool, as opposed to making them resilient, making them wanting to be doing the hard yards. And I think we must realize that if we continue to make life too easy for our young people, then they're not going to put that shoulder to the wheel as we expect them to. So my appeal, and I'm stepping off and going into the hard talk, because that is what I'm seeing happening within the choices that our young people are making when it comes to subject choices at grade 10 level. And if we continue on that trend, then we're going to have a situation where our own children out of the Western Cape are not going to get into our local universities, but children from other provinces will step into these spaces that are opened up for children where they should be coming from the Western Cape. And this is a simple example of what is currently the reality at our universities. And so my appeal to our parents is, don't allow your child to look at the soft options. They need to work hard. There's no debate around that. They need to work hard because life is hard. And so if you've done well for yourself uh, as an adult, then your child must follow the same sort of work ethic that you've developed in order to get to where you are. So parents, you need to get your children to be putting in those hard yards. They need to be, and you need to have the tough talks with them to ensure that they stay on that path. We cannot develop an economy if our learners are choosing, let's call it, and I'm putting this in inverted commas, those soft options, the histories, the tourisms, the math literacies, because it's not going to contribute to citizens that are going to really contribute to the economy of this country. As I mentioned, I'm sitting here with all these TVET colleges in the province. We're looking at the programs that the TVET colleges are going to be introducing for us to have more electricians, more plumbers, more engineers. And we need the young people to want to fill those roles in order for them to be able to contribute to the growth of this economy. And the other important part to that particular conversation is the fact that if you are an artisan, then you are basically employable anywhere in the world. And there are so many South Africans having gone overseas because they have the qualifications, they have the skills in order for them to be able to compete with artisans in other countries. And I think when our parents get to that realization, they will know that, it's not all about white collar work that is going to get our young people into good spaces, but artisanal work, people in overalls are also going to be able to contribute to the economy and also make an excellent living.
Mm-hmm. Very, very important points, of course, and I was hoping that you'll refer to that work ethic, because again, I know this is something that always comes through in our conversation with you. Having been an educator for very, very long, you would always say that there's no shortcuts. One actually
there
has
is
to
no shortcuts in life.
Ja. En hoe gouer jy dit besef, hoe beter is dit. En vir ouers ook om nou wakker te skrik en te sê, oh my word, yeah, I could have, and we ought to have done this. You always would say to us, then make use of whatever facilities it is that the school offers. And when there are open days around, ask the questions, and don't, because it's kind of, you mentioned subject choices now. It's kind of futile having ideas around pursuing a career that requires you to have maths, and then you never did maths. You did maths lit, or you did one of those other subjects, because that's really what it was about. Now speak to us a little bit about that. Yes, and the role that parents have to. And when we say preparing for grade 11, we realize that, as you said, it starts much, much earlier. It starts not just with a mindset and a work ethic, but also when it comes to choosing the subjects. What role do parents play with regards to this?
I think parents play a critical role. I think our parents, and I'm now talking about parents that have come through the hard yards, are parents that are going to, let's call it muscle down on their children to make sure that their children do the necessary. But our younger parents who have had, and again, I'm saying this in a very respectful manner, that we want to create the best options for our children. We want to make life easy for them. We want to give them everything. If we can afford it, we're going to try and give them everything. So they will get everything. But what we're not teaching our children is resilience. And the resilience comes if you're putting your shoulder to the wheel, if you know what it is that you need to be sacrificing in order to achieve particular milestones. And so that is what we need to be teaching our children. And so we want to send our children to the best schools. We're going to pay those exorbitant school fees. But after all of that, has my child achieved the kind of results that he or she needs in order to open up their own doors for themselves in life? Yes, as a parent, we are there to support, but the work needs to be done by the individual, the child, him or herself. And I think that becomes important, that understanding that the child will have the support, but the child needs to take a responsibility for wanting to end up where they're going to be opening up their own doors in life. And I think that is an important conversation. I want to give you a simple example. I've spoken at a couple of grade 9 parents' meetings and engaging with the parents on their children's subject choices. I'll give you a simple example. So I'm at Belgravia High School, and 400 meters from Belgravia High School are the entrances to 2 institutions. One is the Medina Institute, which is in the same road as Belgravia, and then a little further down, another 100 meters, you have the Cape Town College, the TVET College.
Mm.
Yet you don't find the Belgravia High School learners transitioning from Belgravia High into those 2 institutions, and they are right on their doorstep.
Mm.
And so are they not transitioning because they're not achieving the correct results? Or have they not investigated what are the offerings of those institutions in order for them to step into the higher education institutions? And so I'm giving you a simple example, and I'm giving that example to our listeners so that our listeners understand that even though the TVET College is a stone's throw away from the school, it's actually a good option. It's an option that I need to look at with my child because we know the environment. But the education that they're going to get, the skills that they're going to develop at that TVET College is going to open up a career for them that may not only bring wealth to them, but they could be going to work anywhere in the world in order to show their skills.
Yeah.
And so this is a simple example of what happens when our parents in relation with their children are not looking at the options which is right on their doorstep. And so that is something that I needed our parents to take cognizance of. Or is the question, is the TVET College right on our doorstep not good enough?
Yeah.
Because we're not thinking about that. We're not thinking about our children stepping into overalls. Yet it is the guy in the overall that is going to offer you the best possible options.
Provide the services, yes, that you need, essential services, yes.
Let me give you another practical example. So I've got a stable door that needs to be replaced, right? And I phone around to my friends and I say, give me, I need somebody that can hang a door because it's not everybody that has the skills to hang a door.
Yeah.
And so I get 3 people that I have to contact in order to be able to hang a door.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, each one of them gave me a call-out fee in their quote. A call-out fee of 500 Rand.
What?
All 3
om my deur
te hang, but each one of them had a 500 Rand call-out fee.
And the reason they have a call-out fee is because they know people are going to have to pay it.
Yeah. In order for me to hang the door, that is besides the labor, and that is beside any additional tools. Now I'm saying to a parent, I'm saying to the children, there's a simple example for you. You're an artisan, and already before you do any work, there's a 500 Rand guaranteed.
Yeah.
And if you're picking up a job every day, then by the end of the week, you already have 2,500 Rand just in call-out fees. You haven't done any work yet.
For one job per day. Ja, dis 24 ure in die dag, dis waar.
So, seriously, I don't know how much more I need to tell our parents, but we need to be serious about what it is that our children are going to do.
And I
There is
remember
no
this was a
soft.
conversation. Yes, and I remember when you gave us the stats the last time we spoke, and you
Yes,
said to us, you said there's so many universities in South Africa. You broke it down and you said
yes,
at the end of the
yes,
year, there's going to be so many students, so many learners that matriculate. There's only going to be space for a very small amount. Now, what would you prefer doing? Sit at home, not find a job, or then go to a
yeah,
TVET college when, yes, that can be a stepping stone into your next career. Nothing is cast in stone. You may qualify to provide a service now by having
yeah,
gone to a TVET college. It doesn't mean that you cannot go and study further at some point again. And that is something that I remember you said that we often forget that it doesn't stop. You know, the idea of
yeah.
adding qualification doesn't stop. I wanted to end on another very, very practical note. One of my colleagues here in programming actually was a learner in your class many years ago.
Oh,
So when we speak about self-regulating and when we speak about this
yes,
idea of, stand up your footer and learn a few life skills, this colleague said that you said to them at the end of their grade 11 year, don't come back next year if you don't have, there's three things. I forget the third thing. But the first two things were, don't come to school if you don't have your ID, or show me
yes.
proof that you've applied for your ID. The second thing is, come to me with proof that you have a bank account in your name. Because those things are going to be requirements. The ID is going to be a requirement for you to apply the following year, when you do your matric exams
Yes.
and whatever. And then there
Yeah.
was a third thing. And he said,
The third
this
thing, the
colleague
third
said,
thing,
you were
the,
serious. You didn't say, no, okay,
yes,
they have this and then not check it. You checked everybody the following year when they got
yes.
to school.
The third thing was an email address. Because how are
Ah,
people going to contact you?
now
So
see,
if you're making applications anywhere, you need to have an email address. And in the same way, you need to have a cell phone number that's live. So that
yeah,
if I phone you with a job offer, or I phone you with a scholarship offer, that your phone is live. Number that you have put on a document is live. It is
ah.
not a number that is going to go quiet when you phone. So those are
Yeah.
the couple of things that I emphasized
This
to
I
my
wanted to
grade
I
11s when I
wanted
was
to tell
teaching.
our listeners that when you speak about these things, it's not because you haven't been through it. You checked up on your learners and you were teaching in the heart
Yes,
on the Cape Flats as well, because this is one of those schools that this colleague of mine comes from, and he said this is what
yes.
you did, and don't you can have your holiday, and you were very clear, have your holiday, but these are the things that you need to have because this will set you in good stead for the year. So when we speak about life skills, I realize this is what you mean. These are things that learners must also be able to imbibe from that age already.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm very happy that learner is
Yeah,
that young person
I see it
is
served him
remembering all of
well.
that.
Jy het die gitaar geslaan. You were a hard taskmaster, but he said
Yes,
those skills, that is what he left school with, and that's what he remembers.
no, absolutely. I'm very. It warms my heart if I know that they've taken those things seriously. I can also add that in my last year as the grade 11 teacher, three of those learners are now doctors,
Wow,
medical doctors.
alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Out of
Alhamdulillah.
Mitchell's Plain, and yeah, it was all about developing a strong work ethic while they were at school,
Mm.
and we drilled that into them. So, alhamdulillah, if parents are willing to listen to the advice that is being given, it is advice that comes from years of experience, and we know what the consequences of if you follow that path, that you can only open doors for yourself.
We have about two minutes left. I want to quickly read one or two of the WhatsApps, and then I want to get your closing comments,
Okay.
Dr. Taladia. Most of our listeners are agreeing, in as far as the the subjects that you mentioned, and what we need, and said that maybe our career advisors need to need to direct our learners better, in terms of our future
Yeah.
generations. Many are asking for the rebroadcast. Ons gaan terugkom met julle daarop. Hierdie boodskap sê assalamu alaikum. It's so true. Our youth seem to lack resilience. We have made things comfortable for them so that they can work easily, quote unquote, towards tertiary education. But this has weakened them as they now lack real life survival skills. The success is not only in using the intellect, but using their hands and applying those types of skills. Even the TVET colleges forces these learners to do mostly theory first and minimal practical. Is this true, Dr. Taladia?
No, absolutely, and I'm talking about young people developing resilience, and because we make life too comfortable for them, they're not developing. They're not developing. They're not becoming streetwise, for want of a better word. They're not becoming streetwise because we pick them up, we drop them. Yes, safety is an important issue, but we do everything for them. Do they know how to fry an egg themselves? Just a simple classic example. And so mommy's going to try and she's going to fry the egg and she's going to make everything right for them. So yes, we make life too comfortable for them.
And so important as parents, yes, that's part of the take-home messages. Or as parents, we need to become involved, not just to give the criticism and not just redirect that critique and say it's Diana's skuld and Diana. We need to also get involved, and yes, from a young age, work ethic, even at home, accountability, self-regulation. I think those are for me the take-home words. Thank you so much, Dr. Taladia.
It's a pleasure. Shukran for having me on the program, and to your listeners and to the young person working at the radio station, very happy to hear that they've picked up on some of the comments over the years. Shukran.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tyd vlieg altyd when we speak to Dr. Ismail Taladia, who's the curriculum planner for life orientation in the WCED, speaking to us about the transition that grade 11 learners will need to make, but also so much more. Absolutely insightful. And for those of you asking for a rebroadcast, let's see what we can do in terms of posting that on our YouTube channel. It's 9:56. Stay with us on 100.4 FM. The 10 o'clock news follows.
This podcast is brought to you by Radio 786.